All right, we got to get to this. We apparently caused a little bit of an uproar yesterday. The emotional CJ conversation that we had was it got a little run, I would say.
People are upset, Clint.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how that level of conversation.
People are tired of it.
Well, it's interesting how that level of conversation really makes
you heartless son of a bitch.
Well, it really makes the side of people come out that's really. But hey, look, I want everybody to know I am here for the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't just want to banter on social media when it's somebody that's stroking one of my opinions, even though that is nice. I am A-okay with answering and responding to the negative stuff. And I want to start, Ron, by clearing up a few things that I think were brought to my attention via social media. Let's be clear with the C.J. Stroud and the emotional stuff that we've seen from C.J. Stroud. Let's be clear. I know some of you out there are extremely sensitive. I know you got your profile pic is C.J. Stroud's jersey. I get it. Your bio pic is C.J. and Will Anderson and all this. I get it.
We're going violent here.
Well, I know there's some sensitive folks out there. I want you to understand this, right? It isn't worth a conversation. And in hindsight right now, there is no doubt about it. You look at the text line, it's polarizing. Positive, negative, right? There's articles out there getting written. You look on social media, there's people that agree, there's people that disagree. It is definitely worth a conversation, right? And then, by the way, there are what I would say, some very trustworthy reporters that were at practice when the Brevin Jordan injury happened and CJ needed to be consoled, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it happened,
Don called right at this time.
Before that now, there was a tweet that immediately went out following a description of what happened with Brevin Jordan. There was a tweet that actually talked about C.J. Stroud needing to be consoled. That in itself tells you that it's noteworthy. It was reported on, right? Not long after that, Sean Pendergast comes on these airways and was asked a simple question about what was going on. It was reported once again that C.J. Stroud needed to be consoled, right? Okay, so it's obviously noteworthy, which, by the way, noteworthy is interesting, that kind of thing. So it's clearly noteworthy, right? Last season when the Tank Dell C.J. Stroud emotional game happened, when it all went down, for a week after that, I was asked constantly was asked about C.J. Stroud, the emotion that was shown on the field at that moment. Right? And again, I don't care some of it, but I was asked constantly. This is absolutely, in our business, a worthy conversation. Now, for all of y'all out there that just think any conversation around the emotion is negative, hey man, I don't want to live in your headspace, right? The other part of this thing is, Ron, for me, anybody out there that wants to take a conversation about a quarterback that gets rattled by an injury and a conversation that we had on these airways that was not disrespectful, it was very matter of fact and I think fair. People may not agree with it, but I think it was fair. I don't think there was anything macho about it. I think I would have preferred, in my response to your comment, I would have preferred to say guys probably roll their eyes at it versus guys laugh at it, just to be a little bit more conscious of kind of what happened. It was an injury that had just happened to Brevin Jordan. So maybe I used a phrase that I wish I would have probably phrased a little bit different, but I mean, you get my point, right? But anybody out there that wants to take this C.J. Stroud conversation, the quarterback of an NFL franchise that is a bit rattled, I think it's a fact, is a bit rattled when people get injured. Anybody that wants to take that conversation and turn it into, well, men can show emotion too, man, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. This is not a whether men in America can show emotion or should show emotion or can't. Come on, we're having a conversation about the most difficult position to play in all of sports. We're talking about C.J. Stroud because we all want to see C.J. Stroud win a Super Bowl. And there is an occurrence that happened, and it is absolutely worth discussing and talking about. And maybe you think it's a no big deal. Maybe you think it's a good deal. Maybe you think it's a spiritual thing. Maybe you think that it's indicative of this team being really close. Great, man. I'm here for it. That's great. I can get that. I'm not going to call you a clown for it. I'm not going to call you every name in the book for it. I'm not going to attack you on social media for it.
Has Macho Man ever cried?
I'm just here to tell you it's a conversation. And we don't have to all agree on it. And if you don't agree, you can keep it moving, right? And here's the thing about the drive. Boys, I think I can speak for y'all a bit. We pride ourselves on having some tough conversation.
Keeping it real, baby.
I pride myself on being a former quarterback, although I know it's very apparent right now. There's a lot of y'all out there that may or may not respect the career that I had at quarterback. That's fine, too.
Screw them.
I think it's as a professional in this business, and I'll speak for Ron on this, and I'm glad I work for a guy that puts me in a corner sometimes, not physically, but backs me into a corner with questions and topics. I'm glad I work with a guy like that, right? We would be doing you a disservice if there's any quarterback topic that ever comes that needs to be discussed. I just outlined why I think it's okay to be discussed. I think one thing we bring to the table is a perspective of a former quarterback that bounced around in the league for a few years, that, if anything, spent a lot of time around a lot of good quarterbacks in a lot of different organizations with a lot of different coaches, with a lot of different personalities. And I think we'd be doing you a disservice if things come up in and around C.J. Stroud, whether it's funny or not, or it's fair or not, or it's a popular topic or not. I think we'd be doing you a disservice if I, being a former player, former quarterback, didn't give my opinion on that particular topic. I think we'd be doing you a disservice. Now, if you can't handle a conversation about a quarterback, if you can't handle a conversation about your biopic on Twitter, I mean, that's on you. But to turn this into some bigger statement about guys being emotional and being allowed to be emotional and all that jive, and come on, man, that's plumb ass silly. And like I said, I'm glad I work with a guy that asks difficult questions and takes a little different approach to things. And I'm glad to be a part of a show here that doesn't. There's not a need to stroke everybody involved. We can have some tough conversations and keep it moving. So, just to be clear, the conversation was about football. I wish I would have said rolled eyes instead of laugh. I do
regret.
Well, I mean, I do think there's, laugh maybe a little bit harsh. Maybe I just think there's. I think there's what's fair or foul. I know there's a lot of guys that roll eyes at a lot of things, and that would damn sure fall under that category. Now,
your experience,
my experience, right? Which I think there's two of us in the city here that can bring the unique experience of having played the quarterback position in the NFL to the airwaves. Now, again, you may not respect that. That's cool. I'm good with that.
It's a bunch of virtue signaling going on around the city right now, Dirty.
But Tyler, the guys, the most interesting part of this is the inability to have a conversation. Even if you don't like the topic, even if you don't know why it's a topic, it is. Look at the text line. Look at social media. Look at what I mean. It is a topic that in our game. We got people writing articles about it. Now, I don't know who the hell they are, but they're writing articles about.
I see you, Big Mike.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you are, I would appreciate it if you go back and listen to that next segment where I did kind of explain, hey man, when you're the quarterback, you're the rock, you're the steadying force typically, and so that's why it's a conversation. Get all the context, not just the porn, if you will. But
that's the best part is the folks on Twitter that I know have not heard a second of our conversation.
They obviously they have. A lot of them have.
Listen, I don't regret a damn thing I said yesterday, and I'll say it again because I know I know for me. And I said it repeatedly. This has nothing to do with being soft or him not having balls. I said that multiple times yesterday, and there are some people who want to take that and what we talked about and move it into that space
Right.
because you say
Right.
that I feel like as a leader, for me, now your leading may be different. I've had multiple conversations about this. I know for me there is a thought process of if you are the guy that everybody's looking towards, whether you're on the football field, whether you run a company, whether you own a business, whether you are a leader in your household, when adversity hits, there's a deal of, hey, I'm one of the leaders here. We're good. You want to put up a front. I believe, as I said yesterday, I believe that's what D'Amico did. And I believe D'Amico was as hurt and cared about that kid and any of the players on that field as much as anybody. But there is a thought of, hey, I got to get these guys in right now.
Yeah.
And let them know we're good. We're all right. We're good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the podium and I'm going to tell you, hey, the Texans are good. I'm good. It doesn't have anything to do with it. C.J. Stroud has been through so much in his life that if you don't know, then maybe you should look it up. That kid is not soft. That kid has the exact balls that he needs. That kid can be emotional. I'm not telling him not to be emotional. But you ever have issues as a parent with something in your family and you want to put up the right face so they don't start losing it?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Now, if you want to say, hey, my thought is I want them to see that's something that I can work on some more too. Cool. But I don't think it's asinine or saying that the guy doesn't have balls.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Again,
Nobody even remotely came close to talking about that.
I believe he's got enough balls and has been through more than many of you all who have. There are people who have said that. I don't rock with that. For me, it is simply.
Well, you made that clear yesterday.
It is, and I know we got to get out of here, Tyler. I'm sorry.
No,
to me, it is simple. The guy that everybody looks at. There are three dudes. There's a triangle right now. There's a triangle. It is D'Amico, it is CJ, it is Will Anderson. Those are the three dudes that are the leaders of this team now and moving forward that everybody's looking at. Two of them, I got no concerns. If any adversity hits, that they're going to be ready to go to galvanize the team, to be right there, and everybody can look at them and say, all right, those dudes are good. We're going to be good. I think CJ is going to be that guy. And with all of them, those two, D'Amico, Will, no matter if they're the ones who did it or not, do I think their production is going to drop or their performance is going to drop because adversity hits? No. CJ, I don't think it will. But I've seen him be affected by it. And that's all I'm saying. Dalton Schultz, and I will stand by it. Dalton Schultz should not be the one consoling C.J. Stroud when adversity hits. He is the dude. The rules are different for that position. Sorry. But it ain't about the kid ain't got balls. The kid is he's in the NFL. He's tough.